Hello, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a subject matter, which is vape clones, right? So obviously, there are two sides to this. Some people say all clones are stealing someone else's intellectual property, and others would say that those products are priced way too high anyway, that it does not make sense, and therefore they want to buy a clone. Well, let me tell you why I buy clones. I buy clones simply just to test it out. I only buy clones for really expensive stuff. For example, if you take, let's say, a Geek Vape RDA that costs $30, there are clones out there that cost $15. Now, for me, if the authentic costs like 5 times more than the clone, only then would I consider buying it. Because as I said, I only buy clone for really high-end stuff. Because if you look at the more expensive atomizers, for example, let's take an Armor RDA, stuff like that, right? It costs like, I don't know, about $200. And if you want to buy something like that, you have to get into a Facebook group, and then they have to choose you to get into the next Facebook group, and then you have to do an X1 thing, you have to put a name in a list randomizer and stuff like that. There's so many hoops to jump through. Wouldn't it make more sense if you knew what you were actually trying to get before you went and jumped through those hoops and the ring of fire and then another hoop and stuff like that? That's why I buy clones. I do not buy clones if the authentic is not at least triple the price, right? So it's not just about getting stuff cheap for me, it's about testing it out. Now, every single clone that I have bought and that I'm satisfied with, I actually have the authentic right now, right? So as I said, I only buy to test it out. And sometimes also because you guys keep requesting for me to test something out, like the Hadley clone or the Crichton clone, I actually got the authentic first and then I got the clone. So a lot of people keep asking me, if I want to buy a clone, should I? I mean, will it work? Is it as good as the authentic? And, you know, should I expect any issues? So the reality now is that clones have pretty much caught up in terms of build quality. You can get a clone that is really good, has really good machining, really good build quality, and looks almost identical to the authentic. If they were really trying to, I believe they could be 100% look-alike to the authentic. But some clone companies like SXK, for example, they just don't seem to be interested to be a one-to-one clone. They want to tinker with something and change something, so it's really up to them. And then they have other clone companies like SJMY or Kind Bride and what was it again? Li Fang? And those companies tend to produce more of one-to-one clones. And the quality is really spot on. Now, in terms of my conscience, whenever I got those clones and I look at those clones and they're really good, and it really bugs my conscience, like, oh, do I really need to get the authentic? But, you know, I stick to what I said. I buy them to test them out, because for the really high-end stuff, you cannot find good reviews out there or on YouTube. You may find some in Portuguese or Spanish and stuff like that, but stuff that I understand is really hard to find. Anyway, so people keep asking me, are clones good? Are they going to be a waste of money? Generally speaking, if you buy clones from well-known clone companies like SXK or SJMY or Kind Bride or Copper Vape, you will be getting reasonably good stuff. In some cases, the quality isn't quite as good as the authentic, but it's doable. It's good enough for you to use it and vape on it and build on it. But all these companies, something that I've noticed, they all suck at one thing. And what is that one thing? The silicone O-rings. For whatever reason, they get the machining right, they get all the dimensions right, the drip tips exactly the same as the authentic, but then they use freaking cheap O-rings I have no idea why they insist on using the really cheap O-rings. Most of the clones I've reviewed on this channel, and some that I've got myself and I never really reviewed, the O-rings just suck. The O-rings are the first thing to, to go wrong in the entire tank that you have. And that leads to other problems like leaking and stuff like that. So when people ask me if I buy a clone tank, will it leak? I have to say that it most probably won't leak when you get it. But over time, and time could be 1 week, 1 month, it really depends, you will start to have some leaks because of the O-rings. Like I said, for whatever reason, they insist on using dirt cheap, low quality O-rings when they get everything else just right. So let's take a look at this little clone right here. This is the K-Fun Mini version 3 clone. K-Fun Mini version 3 clone. Build quality, superb. Build quality is excellent. It vapes really great. The airflow is really great. And this is one of the only clones I don't really have the authentic for yet, because I've decided that I don't really want to do the mouth to lung thing anymore. But it is a really good clone for mouth to lung vaping, and it worked really well until one day I just started to have leaks out of every possible place that it can leak, but actually mostly through the bottom here, the bottom O-ring right here, right? So there is a simple solution to this. Actually, if you go to like fasttag.com, you can buy a huge bunch of O-rings for like $1.50 or maybe even $1.99, $1, right? You can get a huge bunch of O-rings if you know the correct size. But also you can get on like fasttag.com a replacement kits. So like this one right here, this one I got for the K-Fun Mini version 3 from fasttag.com, a complete replacement kit with all the correct size O-rings, some screws, and also an insulator and stuff like that. And this one I think cost me about $1.50, maybe $2 or $3, really cheap. And you can find replacement kits for other stuff as well, other popular clones like the K-Fun version 5 or different clone RDAs. You can find replacement kits, maybe not when the RDA is initially available, but after a few months usually you'll be able to find complete replacement kits, and that usually solves most of the problems that you have with any vape clone that you have. Just get a replacement kit and replace the faulty O-ring, or replace everything if you want to. I believe there were 2 complete set of O-rings in this replacement kit right here. Or you can also just cannibalize your older RDAs. You know, sometimes you want to throw stuff out, stuff that just sucks. Before you throw it out, grab the O-rings and keep those O-rings, because it will come in handy, right? Throw everything else out, that's fine. I usually keep the O-rings, and sometimes I keep the box for storing stuff. So now I have a whole bunch of O-rings right here, and if I wanted to hang on to those clones, then I'll probably need to check out or change the O-rings. But generally speaking, I don't hang on to the clones. I use them, I test them. If it's something that I like, and I assume that the authentic will be slightly better, not way better than the clone, then I go out and I hunt for the authentic. And sometimes it is a hunt, because you'll not be able to find stock anywhere, and you have to buy used out of someone. But if I really like it after testing the clone, I always get the authentic. So for those of you who morally object to clones, I understand that. I understand that perfectly well, but don't write off the entire clone industry completely, because then you'll miss out on stuff like this one, the K-Fun Mini version 5, the K-Fun version 5 Mini. Did I get that right? Yes, K-Fun version 5 Mini. Now there is no such thing as an authentic K-Fun 5 Mini, so this one is a fantasy kind of clone. So if you do not want to buy clones for whatever reason, you may still want to keep track of what is available, because this one right here, the K-Fun version 5 Mini, is one of my best flavor chasing tanks that I have ever owned, and it's dirt cheap. Of course, it is based on the full-size K-Fun 5, but they have done quite an amount of tinkering right here to reduce all the sections so you get the best of like a K-Fun 5 in a shorter profile, and it does give better flavor. And as I said, there is no such thing as an authentic K-Fun 5 Mini. Lots of you guys have watched my review of the K-Fun 5 Mini. I believe it's from SXK. Yes, SXK. And you guys have bought it, and the reviews or the feedback that I've got is that it is fantastic. So if you morally object to clones, you may still want to check out some of those fantasy clones, because they usually start with the authentic stuff, but they change a lot of things here and there, and it's cheap and it works well. But of course, as I said, the biggest problem with clones, even in this one, is the O-rings. After a while, you probably need to get a set of replacement O-rings if you want to continue using the clones. So I do have a complete list of the best vape clones that you can buy, newer stuff and also really old classic stuff. I will do a separate review on the best clones available based on that list, but you can check the link in the description box below to get to that list to check out the best clones that you can buy. And the K-Fun Mini version, K-Fun 5 Mini is definitely one of the top in that list. So in conclusion, if you really do want to get a clone, either to test it out or because you don't have enough money, generally speaking, most of the clones out there are pretty up to speed right now. You should be able to get good build quality, lots of spares as well provided, sometimes more than what the authentic gives you, like O-rings and screws and stuff like that. But keep in mind that the O-rings are definitely an issue. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 clones that I have tried that have really good O-rings. The others, especially ones by SXK, the O-rings just suck. So eventually you will have some form of leaking. If it's a tank, if it's an RDA, maybe not, but if it's a tank, eventually you'll have some form of leaking and you'll have to go out and buy spare O-rings. Okie dokie, no more smoky.
Wow.